Hey everyone, welcome back. Welcome back to the Breadcrumbs project, and my oh my, are things just getting so interesting. When you go down the rabbit hole, it is in fact the rabbit hole. And rabbit holes are, to us researchers, are just getting new data, processing it. I will tell you this much, since this is what we're studying, that I thought we would be well into the blue area by now of our Breadcrumbs project, of going through this map. And when it dawned on me very early that this was not the work of a brilliant young man, I don't care how brilliant you are. I have been researching a lot of this stuff for 15 years now on my own. A senior researcher, I don't know if I'm going to call him Baker yet, but a senior researcher who has more access to information that I would never ever have access to, was pretty impressed of my post-biblical flood knowledge, which only, I didn't guess any of that stuff. I've been researching it for years and years and years now. And so, bringing up the map, I thought I'd be well into the blue by now. But when you are doing research, you have to understand the foundations of what you're studying before you really can move forward. I mean, I'm still not ready for the blue area yet. I still have a lot to learn in the pink area. This is going to go on for a long time, studying this map. It is so much, and the placement of everything is completely relevant to the setup. So kudos to Dylan for representing this, but brother o' mine, you didn't do the work behind this. This has been done for decades. This has not come together slowly at all. And you have to have a lot of access to understand this. You really do. And the green areas talking about aliens, because this is declassified material. Dylan said that. It says that in the notes of this. It's declassified material. So aliens are real. They have been on our planet. We can go ahead and start in our little group of friends here appreciating the fact that aliens are real and they built the pyramids. Somebody that I've been trying to get to study is Set. So the Canaanites and the that were on the plain of Sodom and Gomorrah, which was 5 countries, which was 5 states. One of them survived, and from that one survival has come this great cancer that has spread throughout the world, and strictly through the ritual of pedophilia. Because again, they know that if they diddle their children are going to be pedophiles, whether they like it or not. I have spoken to a pedophile, and he has told me this. And I have recorded. I mean, there's just so little time. 24 hours in a day sucks. Sucks. And it sucks that I love to sleep. I love my sleep. I only get 6 hours, 6 to 7 hours. Oh, I love it. And the rest is either working with you guys or working to pay the bills. But there's just so much in this. So one of the most important things that we have to understand is that the Illuminati create that air of exclusivity. One of the things that wealthy people over generations enjoy is that exclusivity. And people that become rich and powerful want to enjoy that exclusivity. Think of the Clintons. When they came out of the White House, they were in debt because that was just such a corrupt administration. But the Illuminati groomed Bill Clinton and Hillary perfectly through the Rhodes Scholarship. They were able to take Bill Clinton to Europe, teach him charm, teach him grace, teach him pedophilia, teach him how to hide these things. And they did the same thing with Hillary while she was working in D.C. She was one of the Watergate lawyers. She got fired because she was so aggressive. And she was bending the rules left and right. She was showing who she was. And the best thing that ever happened to her was getting fired from the Watergate Committee. Because that showed the Illuminati, this pedophile has what it takes. So, and Judy, I don't know if you're watching, but thank you for the research that you've done. I just finished reading your emails, and they blew me away with what we're talking about. So, Set. I really want to look up Set. So you guys are going to join me in this process. All right, let's see what DuckDuckGo pulls up. Of course, it's going to be Wikipedia. Don't freak out. All right. Set is a god of deserts, storms, disorder, violence, and foreigners in ancient Egyptian religion. Ah, well, great. All right. Let's go through that again. Set is a god of deserts, storms, disorder, violence, and foreigners in ancient Egyptian religion. In ancient Greek, the god's name was given as Seth. Set had a positive role where he accompanies Ra on his silver boat to repel Apep, the serpent of chaos. Set had a vital role as a reconciled combatant. He was lord of the Red Desert land, where he was the balance to Horus's role as lord of the black soil land. In the Osiris myth, the most important Egyptian myth, Set is portrayed as the usurper who killed and mutilated his own brother, Osiris. Sounds a lot like Cain and Abel. Osiris' wife reassembled his corpse and resurrected her dead husband long enough to conceive his son and heir Horus. Horus sought revenge upon Set, and the myths describe their conflicts in ancient Egyptian astronomy. Set was commonly associated with the planet Mercury. Interesting. All right, protector of Ra. Set was depicted standing on the prow of Ra's barge, defeating the dark serpent Apep in the late period representations, such as Persian's period temple of Hibis at Karga. Set was represented in his role with a falcon's head taking the guise of Horus, Amenhotep. Set is described as having a key role overcoming Apep. But the god of violence, disorder, had no problem killing and mutilating his brother. All right, so we know who kind of Set is. Set, Satanism, disorder, chaos, violence, Lucifer, then Baal. They all meet. Carthage becomes the land of the cannibals, but they hide it well, and they become infinitely rich and control much of. They are the descendants of the Phoenicians, so they control much of the trade. And I'm sure they had their own way of banking as well, and they came in conflict with Rome and the Carthaginian Wars, but Rome was eventually the victors. It doesn't mean that the Phoenicians and Carthage were vanquished. It just means they spread out. They went underground. And as it is kept being pointed out to me after research that I do, the house of Dan, which were Canaanites, probably practiced cannibalism and were a very closed house, so they didn't even accept this half-born Jew. They were expelled. They roamed the desert. They met up with the Canaanites and Phoenicians. I don't know if they became the Phoenicians, but somehow they organized there. They were expelled from the Middle East. They were expelled from Israel because of their curse, and created Carthage. And they were able to create an entire empire there because of their wealth. And that wealth has always continued throughout history and has merged with different powerful families and maintained themselves, ultimately become the Illuminati. And we're going to be talking a lot more about the Illuminati this afternoon because of Judy's research. She reinforced some of the research that I have been coming across, and that Craig has been coming across, and it's out there for a reason, because they want us to know. So Luciferian Baal takes over the cult of Venus. Julius Caesar and Cleopatra become union because they're probably both pedophiles. And the cult of Caesar continues with the Flavians, ultimately with Titus, and that was a very unique time in Roman history, that actual Caesarship, emperorship, went from father to son, uninterrupted. Usually there was an adopted son or something that came in weird in these groups. But they had to make sure that whoever took title was a pedophile. All right. And Jesus Christ, who happened in Jerusalem, who was trying to bring the house of David back to God, was a real thing and was becoming a very big threat to the Roman Empire. If we remember the history, they were throwing the Christians to the lions. And they kept being pointed out, for every one of us that you execute, 5 more are created. This thing that Jesus represents is so powerful. And Jesus says in the Bible, in the New Testament, over 200 times that he is the Son of Man. The Son of Man is important in the, sorry about that. Son of Man is important in in the Torah, but what's the word? In the prophets. All of the prophets were always talking about the Son of Man that comes. So they were prophesying that. And it comes in the age of Pisces. And people were drawing fish. Some say it's because of fisher of men. But many would say nowadays that they were acknowledging that they were in the age of Pisces. And the Son of Man had a true message that changed the entire world. And so with the Judean wars and the destruction of Jerusalem one more time, and the expulsion and capture of so many Jews, the Christian cult kept on spreading through Jew and Gentile alike. And what it looks to happen is the powers that be said, look, we can either fight this or we can control it by organizing it and controlling the top. And that looks like what happened at the Council of Nicaea, where we have the Nicene Creed, where all of the writings they could gather and edit, because this was 300 years after the death of Christ that the Council of Nicaea happened, and that the Bible was codified with the Torah and the attachment of the New Testament. The last words of the Torah say, not a word shall be added or taken away. So what did these people do? They desecrated Torah by adding a whole new book to it. And then they put this heavily edited work together that left out a lot of important information. And that's the Nag Hammadi scriptures and the Gnostic scriptures. There's a lot of stuff that was edited out because they wanted to organize and control this new religion. That's what you do with a horse. You break a horse. They broke the Christian religion and then saw, look, the way we were doing things as Romans isn't going to work anymore. Let's tuck in with this Christian movement, create the Vatican, and then we have our own country that we still control, and we control so much of the world from small rooms in this Vatican because people are obedient to us. And again, and I know many Catholics that are going to watch this, many Christians are going to watch this, you're going to get really upset. But you have to really appreciate Judaism. And the practice of the communion is a satanic practice. You're not communing with a Jewish rabbi and his teachings. He would never, ever have said or done that. It's just something big within Judaism. You can ask any practicing Jew. Tell me about the dead. Would this be something that a Jewish person would say or do? Good Lord, no. Not a chance. And it's so important for Jews that they get every piece of a body and bury it properly. So everything that communion of eating the flesh and drinking the blood is totally counter what a practicing Jew would think to say or do, much less a rabbi. And if you look at it through the cult of Baal and how they decided to do things, and you look at it through the words of John F. Kennedy, who said, these dangerous people don't do wars. They take over and put in place bureaucracies to control their enemies. And you just look at the world, and there it is. And then you just get deeper and deeper into it, and you're like, oh my Lord, here we are. So Constantine, his mother, most of all, go ahead and organize the Christian religion and make sure that they control it in Constantinople. Then it is eventually moved to where it rightfully belongs, in Rome. Because eventually the people of Carthage, the cannibals, make their way to Rome and take over the Roman people, and then create that whole thing that we see in Eyes Wide Shut in Florence, where they create galas and festivals. And what they do in their exclusive societies, or wealthy exclusive societies, is they have orgies, and then they get more exclusive, and that's where they practice the rites of cannibalism. You just see it. And the priests of Baal have to be cannibals. There's just no if, and they have to practice it. That's their ritual. And so they've made the part of their ritual part of our ritual in Christianity. And they laugh at us. So yeah, it is tough to accept. And so we move through that process, and the Christians cannot be enemies of Jews directly. And they put in division by saying that the Jews killed the Christian Jesus. It's not that at all. It's the people that were controlling Judaism at that time who were absolutely corrupt, and probably corrupted by the Canaanites and the house of Baal. And that's who Jesus was fighting probably directly. Because the Sanhedrin, those people that controlled Jerusalem and Judaism at that time, were corrupt. And they managed to corrupt Judas. And Judas was turned on Christ. I mean, you see all of it right there, how things operate now. But the message of the Son of Man is so powerful that it resonates in Asia. It resonates wherever it is spoken. You do not have to have a picture of the Son of Man to appreciate who he is. But his message sets you free. And that's why they had to control the places that had that message. And so Islam was created by the Vatican in the Middle East to form and organize a group that would constantly do war with their sworn enemies, the Jews. And that's where we're going to leave it right now, because there's a lot to go into. But the Council of Nicaea, something that Protestants really don't like at all. Well, you have a reason not to like it. You guys were right. And I'm coming from a Catholic background. And I see things completely differently after going through the Great Awakening. And as the President has said, there is going to be a great release of information. There's going to be a lot of transparency being exercised. And we're going to probably be seeing that again after Labor Day. So things are going to get interesting. It's a great time to be alive. And I'm sorry for those who are joining late. And those of you who are seeing this recording, I know it's going to be very upsetting to a lot of Christians, and I'm just so sorry. But don't be upset. Understand that the message of Christ, the message of the Son of Man, set you free. But the power of the cannibal, which was hidden from us, has been greatly exercised through the corruption that we've been taught. throughout our Christian learnings. And you will find that over the last 20 years, that Christian theology has gone away from fighting the devil, away from fighting evil, and taking up the mantle of social justice warrior. And being a social justice warrior creates that division where the pedophiles can continue to operate. They need the chaos. They need the violence. That's Set. That's Baal. That's the enemy. All right, no questions? All right, guys, I am going to sign off for now, and I will see you at 1 p.m. Eastern Time for our 1 hour or longer show. And we're going through Q drops 96 to 103. And remember, this has all continued on through the use of that power of exclusivity and taunting people with power and money and fame and putting strings on them, and they become their puppet masters. And Hillary Clinton was one of them, and we have so much to uncover. Judy, thank you again for all the research you've done. We're going to talk about all the research that you've done in our 1 p.m. Live stream. All right, y'all, thank you so much for joining me on my, oops, sorry, that went up too high, on my quest to understand all this information that's been declassified. It is intellectual wow, but it is also wow, wow, wow. So sorry for all those who are going to be disappointed, frustrated. Please email me with any of your thoughts or concerns at info@the-breadcrumbs project, and we will see you at 1. All right, thanks everyone. Think good thoughts, do good deeds, say good words, fight evil with positiveness, fight darkness with light.